when he not yet had a son. God said, you're the father of a multitude, that all the nations of the world be blessed through you. Your descendants are going to be like the stars in the sky and in the sand. And when he did not yet have a son, God called him to be a father. And that's kind of where I think we all deal with, men, is present reality, which is typically has a vacancy, and what God says about us. You hear what I'm saying? Present reality, which we can choose to look at. It's the same thing David encountered, what I talked about yesterday. Present reality versus what God says. And so in Genesis 16, Abraham fails pretty miserably, the whole Hagar debacle. And so this morning I'm reading and I'm saying, how did God respond to Abraham's failure? So in 16, Abraham fails, and in 17, here's how God responds. As for me, behold, my covenant is with you, and you shall be a father of many nations. It didn't change at all. God's response to Abraham's failure was the same response, the same thing he said to him before his failure. I made covenant with you, you're going to be this, you're going to be this, and you're going to be that. And the failure had no change on what God thought. I have this incredible desire to coach baseball. And I've been trying to figure it out. And I said, Lord, I'm not going to ask to coach on my son's team. There's already so many guys. And so then the head coach comes up to me and says, I want you to coach. So I said, okay. And so the first game I'm on the bench, I noticed something. I noticed how a lot of these kids, when they fail, when they make an error, it's kind of like the army of the Lord, against Goliath. The shoulders salt, the head drops. And somebody's been telling these kids that it ends in failure. And that's where the story ends, and that's where it stops. Somebody's been telling these kids that there's nothing after that. So I'm watching warm-ups, we're doing infield warm-ups, and the third baseman, if God could have chiseled a baseball player out of stone, it would look like this kid. He's got these big, long, strong legs and this lean upper body. And he just looks like a baseball player, but he's got no confidence at all. And so in warm-ups, he's playing third base, and he makes this horrible throw over the first baseman's head, and the shoulders drop. And he's coming off the field, and I get a hold of him, and I say, Mason, I say, you are an incredible baseball player. I said, you are awesome. There is no third baseman better than you. You are awesome. And when the ball comes to you in the game, I want you to pick it up and I want you to fire it to first with authority. I think the ball got hit to him about 15 times that game. Every time he got it, picked it up, fired it with authority. He was hitting the ball all over the baseball field that day. Why? Because his failure did not dictate his future. Listen, his failure did not dictate his future. And so what do we have? We have a bunch of men that are telling their children, whether it be in their words or their actions, that their future ends in their failure. Instead of speaking to them and responding to their failure like God said, and said, no, you're still this, 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 you're still this. And that's why I love David. I love how he approached that situation from yesterday. He said, I see the present reality, but God says this. And that's where we're at. What are we going to believe? Are we going to believe the present reality, and that's our end, that's our future? Or are we going to believe what God says? Why I introduced this song with this, I'm not sure. First of all, I'm just so honored to have Charles Walker up here playing on this song with me. Thank you, Lord. I'm honored to have a couple guys back here too. This is Mario and Daniel from my church, father and son. And I was just telling Dad, that Mario is just one of the best examples of a dad in our church. It is so awesome. Yes, so awesome to see, and it's reflected in his kids and his family and his life, and my very good friend Samson, Heavy D. That's Star. He's Heavy D for life. This song is called Mary. It's about a young girl, 15, who I unknowingly drove to New Hampshire to get an abortion when I was about 18. Unknowingly. Friend of a friend. And as I've sung the song so many times, and what's it have to do with what I just said is that we need men, dads, fathers, we need to speak a future into some people's lives that are stuck in their failure and live their whole rest of their life out stuck in something that happened 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years ago. When do we see how God responds to failure? When do we start doing the same thing as fathers and speak future into their lives, letting them know that it does not end in failure, that there's a hope and a future for them. So I hope you like this song, and I'm just going to let these guys start whenever we're ready. I remember this girl named Mary, pregnant at 15 by this dude named Jerry. Scary to think that a few years ago they was playing with the Barbies and the G.I. Joes with the Kung Fu grip. Sad, isn't it? That kids is young, they gotta lose their innocence. They bombarded with the images of fantasies. They watch the softcore porn on the MTVs at ease. So I can get back to the story. Similar to what you see on Oprah or Maury, young high school girl, hair tied up in bows, trading up express from maternity clothes. She's a half-time student but a full-time lady. Papa don't preach, I'm keeping my baby, and maybe everything will work out fine. Finish up school if she can find the time. But daddy shut the door cause he don't know how to care. And people whisper in her ear that it's not fair. Babies like this shouldn't even be born. Most of the time they're just left alone. You gotta think about your future, a job and a home. Girl, having this kid is giving up what you own. Girl, having this kid is giving up what you own.
Oh, Mary, Mary, don't you cry. It'll be okay, so dry your eyes.
Cause he came to take the pain away.
He came to take the pain away. I promise to see your daughter someday, yeah.
Now here's the dilemma, to tell or not tell. I could call Aunt Emma, but all she really do is yell. Can I tell my parents? The voice whispers, no way, man. Them of all people, you think that they would understand? You were already alone when they took away your phone. They'd hate you, like an outcast, call you ungrateful. I guess that's it, there's only one thing left to do. Cover up this thing that I did, conceal the truth. I can't believe that looking for love made this mistake. If I wasn't so scared, I'd pray the Lord my soul to take, so then it's on. I think in school I heard about this hotline, family planning clinic. I'll call a ride from a friend of mine, and when she drove up, she said, this don't look bad from the outside. Can you be back in an hour? And then she thanked me for the ride, and when she went inside, it didn't say abortion, but planning families. Is that what I really came here to do? Can it be? They said, yes dear, you're in the right place now, this is a clinic. No family planning, having a baby's life just really ended. No family planning, having a baby's life just really ended. Come on.
Oh, Mary, Mary, don't you cry. It'll be okay, so dry your eyes.
There's a hope and a future.
He came to take the pain away.
Your destiny's not in your failure.
I promise you'll see your daughter someday.
She's 25 now, it's 10 years later. She went through a lot of changes in life, like Darth Vader from Anakin Skywalker. She's not a talker, but she stays pretty quiet. She's on a constant emotional, spiritual diet. Doesn't allow herself to be loved, she's way above that. She doesn't have any friends, she bought an indoor cat. She doesn't talk to anybody, she's got a habit that way. She still cries herself to sleep every night to this day. But they said that it'd be so easy to forget. Maybe in hours, that's funny. A decade later, she takes scalding hot showers, trying to cleanse herself of the wicked thing that she did. Can't get over the fact that she killed her own kid. She even set up a baby room in her apartment, flooded it with toys, painted half pink for a girl, half blue for a boy. And in the corner there's a little pair of ballerina shoes. Take a donut as a dance class, but when she turned 2, lots of nights she just stays up late, sitting in this rocking chair, just rocks back and forth slowly with a sightless stare. Even cradles her arms like she had a baby in it. The only problem is no heartbeat. It's just a blanket and she don't got nobody. All she wanted was a little bit of love from somebody. Anybody, can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you, don't fear me.
Who was that?
I'm the one who loves you dearly.
Mary, I'm the one who knew you in your mother's womb. I formed you, and now I'm the one that's in this room. I love you, forgive you, and the healing's gonna come. I know what it's like to lose, I once lost a son. But that's so you can live and your little daughter too. By the way, her name is Mary, I named her after you. Because her future is not determined by her failure. Come on.
Oh, Mary, Mary, don't you
cry. Dry your eye, Mary.
It'll be okay, so dry your
Don't
eye.
cry. Dry your eye, Mary.
He came to take the pain away.
There's a hope in a future.
I promise you'll see your daughter someday.
Can you sing the chorus with us, man? Come on.
Oh, Mary, Mary, don't you cry. Mary, don't you cry. It'll be okay, so dry your eye.
Think about a woman that you know, a young lady in your life.
He came to take the pain away. Oh,
come on.
I promise you'll see your daughter someday. Mary, don't you cry.
Can you imagine if every father of a little girl just spoke life into every failure that they made during their lives? They would never run away from home. They would never hide their mistakes from dad. They would never hide what they've done wrong from dad. They would run to dad when mistakes happen and find love, healing, forgiveness, and the fact that they have a future that's not determined by their present. Can you give the Lord some praise for that, man? Can you decide for this moment right now that that's how you respond to your children when they fail? I have to check myself every single day. Every single day. When my kids fail, how am I going to respond? Because if I respond negatively, they're going to live in that. And they're going to grow up being those soldiers sitting on the side, afraid to face Goliath, rather than being like David, understanding no matter what the failure might have been, God says something different. And that's what determines future. God bless you guys. Thank you so much.